Today's news is quite interesting, but at the same time, it is worrying for the United States economy. In fact, Denmark has taken two major steps at once, and both have increased tension in Washington. First, Denmark has sent additional troops to Greenland. Second, one of its major pension funds has announced it will sell $100 million worth of U.S. government bonds. This means the situation is no longer limited to statements and warnings. A direct confrontation has begun. First, let's understand why Greenland is so important. Greenland is the gateway to the Arctic region. This is where future rare minerals, new global shipping routes, and energy politics will be decided. As the ice continues to melt, Greenland's strategic value keeps rising. This is exactly why U.S. interest in Greenland has increased rapidly. But for Denmark, this was not just a diplomatic issue. It was a question of sovereignty. Until now, the conflict was mostly a war of words, but Denmark has now gone a step further by deploying troops in Greenland. The message was clear. Decisions about Greenland will be made only by Greenland's government. No external power will decide its future. But the real shock came from another move. A major Danish pension fund announced that it will sell $100 million worth of U.S. Treasury bonds this month. This is not a small investor. The entire financial world is watching this decision very closely. For decades, U.S. Treasuries have been considered the safest investment in the world. Central banks, pension funds, and sovereign wealth funds rely on them. So when a European pension fund says that U.S. debt no longer feels safe, it signals a crack in global confidence. The pension fund's investment chief, Anders Scheld, gave three major reasons for this decision. First, U.S. debt has reached historic levels. Second, the budget deficit continues to grow. Third, high interest rates are making old debt even more expensive. In simple terms, the United States is spending far more than it earns. Under this pressure, Moody's recently downgraded U.S. sovereign credit rating. This means that in the eyes of the world, U.S. debt is no longer as safe as it once was. When political and economic pressures hit at the same time, markets react immediately. The result was clear. U.S. bond yields rose, stock markets fell, and gold touched new highs. Meanwhile, one of the world's biggest investors, Ray Dalio, has already issued a warning. He said that if the United States is no longer seen as a reliable trade partner, sovereign funds around the world may start pulling money out of U.S. investments. Ray Dalio called this the beginning of a capital war. In other words, future battles will not be fought only at borders, but on balance sheets. On the other hand, Greenland's government has also made its position clear. They said they will not make decisions under pressure. Any major step will be taken according to international law and the will of their people. This means this front will not be easy for the United States either. Overall, the battle over Greenland is no longer just about geography. It is a battle over sovereignty, trust and money. Denmark has made it clear that if pressure increases, the response will not be limited to words. It will come through financial actions. Now, what do you think? Just as India earlier reduced its exposure to U.S. Treasuries, and now Denmark appears to be moving in the same direction, is this a major warning sign for the United States? Share your opinion in the comments.